So I wanted to do a really quick update. Hopefully I can keep it short and quick. My last update was a couple of weeks ago now, when I told you the test results and lack of test results. So that was 2 weeks ago. Since doing that video, I did email my OB to let him know how I was feeling. I felt like it was important for me to do that. Something I didn't mention in that video was I felt like this was the straw that broke the camel's back, and I was over it at that point. And I haven't replied to a lot of your comments only because there were so many, and a lot of you were saying exactly the same thing: go to another clinic. And it's exactly how I was feeling and how I am still feeling. I'm kind of done with the nurses. I don't really want to. We definitely won't be doing another IVF cycle there. But I did feel like we've had, as I've said in previous videos, I have a lot of respect for my OB, and he's been nothing but kind and compassionate throughout our journey. We've been with him for 2.5 years now. And so, as annoyed as I was that day that I spoke to him and he gave me the results and told me that the embryo tissue hadn't been tested, he hadn't sent it off, and as upset as I was when I filmed that video, I felt like I did feel let down, and I felt like it was important for me to email him to let him know how I was feeling, and also provide him feedback about the nurses, because it's been something that's been on my mind for a long time now. I've done 2 rounds of IVF this year. My recent pregnancy beta nightmare, when I was talking to nurses every second day for a good 2 weeks, and every conversation was really, I struggled with their tone, and they seemed to lack empathy, and that bothered me. And I can imagine I'm not the only person at that clinic who have been bothered by it, and I definitely wanted to try and avoid that happening to someone else in the future, and I just felt like it was important feedback to provide. So I emailed him on a couple of Wednesdays ago, and emailed at about 3:30, and was not he's so busy. I wasn't expecting him to write back for a day or two, but he wrote back within a couple of hours, so I was very surprised, and I appreciated it, and I appreciated that he, obviously felt it was important to reply to me straight away, and yeah, I felt like his reply was quite sincere. The thing that was bothering me the most about my OB telling me the news that the embryo tissue hadn't been sent off for testing, he didn't apologise, and I thought that was odd and unlike him. So in the email to my OB, I just wanted it to come across as just factual. I wasn't writing it just to let off some steam. I was wanting to provide important feedback and just share with him how I was feeling. I didn't want it to be an aggressive email. So this is what I wrote in the email. I was in 2 minds on whether or not to send this email, but I believe it is highly important to do so. I am beyond frustrated that the karyotype testing on the embryo and pregnancy tissue was not made a priority. This was our 5th miscarriage, and it is hard to think we could have been given answers for this loss if it hadn't been for an internal error. You told us in our appointment last Wednesday that you were waiting on both karyotype test results to come back, the testing done on our chromosomes and the testing done on the pregnancy tissue. I don't understand why it was only realised on Friday that the testing on the pregnancy tissue had not been arranged. You also seemed unsure as to whether the test results may still come through, and couldn't remember if they had been done or not, but surely something like this would be clearly recorded in the system. It just doesn't seem to make much sense, and honestly seems highly unprofessional. The big advantage of having a D&C in the first place was so we'd know what the cause of the miscarriage was. I just cannot believe that after 5 miscarriages, organising this was not prioritised and that my wishes for testing were not ensured. Surely, as my OB, you would want to get all the answers you could for me. Knowledge is power and may have given us more insight into what is going on. As you may be able to understand, I was hoping to find some comfort and peace of mind in receiving those results and to get confirmation that it wasn't my body rejecting a perfectly healthy embryo. When speaking to you on Friday, and after learning of the error, you seemed to make out that it wasn't even a big deal and played down the importance of receiving these results. In my eyes, it's negligent, and to not even get an apology for this error is also beyond me. I am a very patient and forgiving person and definitely not one to complain, but I just thought I need to be completely honest in letting you know how I feel, as it just seems the care factor is missing. I have felt similarly about the IVF nurses and their lack of empathy and compassion. For couples struggling to conceive and going through loss after loss, it's important to make the patient feel like more than just another number. Every conversation with the nurses has been incredibly clinical and lacking sensitivity, with the exception of Katrina, who has always been lovely when delivering hard news. Empathy needs to be displayed at all times, and a lot of the time I have felt let down by the level of care displayed, further adding to the pain. After 2 years of trying and after everything that's happened, I need a clinic where I feel genuinely cared for and not like just another number. I've been second guessing the faith I have in my care, especially when important tests somehow slip through the cracks and it is downplayed to be not a big deal. I hope you understand why I felt the need to share how I'm feeling with you. I have spoken very highly of you over the years and do have a lot of respect for you. I guess I'm just feeling disappointed, deflated and let down. I've reread this email 100 times as I don't want to offend you. I simply wanted to provide my feedback to you and your team in the hopes of improvements to service levels for myself and other patients alike. Thanks for taking the time to read my concerns. That was my email. He replied a couple of hours later. He wrote, "Hi Celeste, thank you very much for your open and honest email. I appreciate the effort and challenge it would have presented to write. In response, I would like to make the following comments. I am genuinely sorry that the karyotype testing was not performed. It was obviously my intention to do so, and my uncertainty at your recent consultation reflects the fact that I had been expecting a result. However, I have chased up through pathology and the tissue was definitely not sent for karyotype, and so I can only conclude that I didn't request this. My mistake, and I sincerely apologise for this. I accept that the karyotype would have given further information, but also would comment that given yours and Tim's normal results, we would not have changed any further treatment in any way on the basis of the result. So I guess my response to you was not specific enough in discussing this, and again I apologise for this. I am deeply concerned that you feel the care factor is missing. From my perspective, I feel sure I have always treated you with respect and concern and have truly felt for you both on so many occasions with all of the disappointments you have had. I was unaware that you had been unhappy with some of the nursing staff interactions, but I am happy to follow this up with them. I genuinely look forward to helping you in your quest to become parents. I have a firm belief that you will achieve this, and I hope I continue to be a part of your journey. However, I truly understand if you feel unable to continue with myself as your clinician. If this is the case, please let me know and I can provide all necessary information to whoever you choose. It has been a very challenging time for you, and whether or not I see you again, Celeste, please keep trying because I think you will be terrific parents, and sooner or later some luck will come your way. Best wishes." I was really touched to read that email. It was very emotive. I did get teary reading it. I guess we've had, he's been a part of our journey for 2.5 years, so it's hard to detach from that emotional aspect of it. I did feel like his apology was genuine. I replied with, "Thank you so much for your sincere and prompt reply. I really appreciate everything you have said and understand that regardless of the karyotype results, our treatment would not have changed. Over the years, I have never doubted the level of care I've received from you. You have always treated me with a lot of respect and concern, and your empathy towards our situation has always been felt. I guess on Friday I was just surprised that the testing had not been organised and that you didn't seem fazed by it, but I understand that mistakes do happen. The lack of care factor was more directed towards some of the nurses. I've had quite a bit of interaction with them over this year, with 2 IVF cycles and our recent HCG beta results that were carried out for over 2 weeks. I've spoken to a lot of them, and over that time many of the conversations have just felt very clinical and lacking compassion. As I said in my previous email, the only nurse that sounded genuinely caring when giving me bad news was Katrina. I understand that there must be some level of professionalism. However, empathy is equally important for the receiver of the news, and completely removing emotion is just not helpful. Thank you. I appreciate you following up on this, not only for me but also for other women it might affect. To that email he replied, I will take your comments regarding the practice nurses to our next risk management meeting for discussion. Again, thanks very much for taking the time to voice your concerns. We are constantly striving to improve our practice and appreciate important feedback such as this. Wishing you the very best of luck. So yeah, that was the communication. I did feel a lot better receiving his apology and, you know, getting it off my chest about the whole issue with the nurses and how I felt about that over these last few months. So I feel like I can put it behind me now and just, you know, move forward, not holding on to any negativity or any, you know, bitterness towards the way things happened with those results. It is what it is, and you know, people make mistakes, obviously. I feel like we can put it behind us now. So I haven't been dwelling on that side of things. I've just come to terms with the fact that we won't know the cause for the miscarriage. And we're just trying to focus on this upcoming embryo transfer. We've still got 1 frozen embryo at the clinic we've been at. There was talks of maybe transferring that, moving that embryo to another clinic and doing the transfer with another clinic, but I think we'll just, it might just be too complicated and confusing and just extra costs involved in doing that. So I think what we'll do is we have to pay a 6-month storage fee for any embryos that are frozen, which is $700, and the 6 months is up in December, which means if we don't transfer that embryo before December, we'll have to pay another $700 for another 6 months storage. Even if we store it for a month after December, we'll still have to pay for that 6 months of storage. So I think there's no point in just keeping it frozen. We may as well transfer it. So the plan is transfer this month in November. I am currently cycle day 3. I have a scan booked for next Monday. I can't remember the date off the top of my head. I guess that scan's just gonna have a look at everything. I'm not 100% sure. And it's going to be just a natural frozen embryo transfer, so off my natural cycle, I'm not taking any meds. I will ovulate naturally as I do around day 17, and then 6 days after I ovulate, I will have the embryo transferred. So that will probably fall around the 25th of November. So 2.5 weeks away, I think it is. So yeah, that's the plan. Trying to be hopeful about it and not worry. As you guys know, we haven't had the embryo tested for chromosomal abnormalities. We didn't do, our clinic we did IVF with doesn't provide PGS testing on the embryos, so we don't know whether the embryo we've got frozen is genetically okay. So that makes me a bit anxious, but I guess we've just got to have faith and fingers crossed. My OB did say to me that moving forward, if this embryo transfer fails, he will refer us to another clinic that do offer PGS, because he believes that that will increase our chances of you know, if we're transferring an embryo that's confirmed to be normal, chromosomally normal, then our chances will be dramatically increased. So that's the plan. I will be taking progesterone from, I think the nurse said the day after I ovulate I'll start progesterone, and then I'm not sure when the baby aspirin starts. I think that's if I get a positive pregnancy test. So that's the plan. Trying to be hopeful and not too worried about all that can go wrong, and hoping that, you know, things start to go right for us. Thanks so much for all of your comments over the last few videos, and I'm sorry if I haven't replied to a lot of you. I have read them all, and I thought I'd try and answer or reply to you via this video. So yeah, I think the sun's going down, so the lighting is not great, but I just wanted to get this video up there, let you know that I have been in correspondence with my OB. I will probably update you next week when I go in for the scan. Wishing you all the best of luck in your journeys. Baby dust, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye.